All right, starting now. What kind of things do you like to do for this class?
I want to do things that aren't a typical school related thing. I think that there are so many reasons why we should be doing things hands on and find things that are applicable to the real world as opposed to just sitting and writing a paper or doing math problems. I think that if you're going to do math, it should be on balancing a checkbook or understanding credit interest rates. If you're going to write a paper, maybe it should be writing a resume instead. Those skills are necessary. We have to make sure that they're real world applicable.
So, how is this class supposed to help me in the future?
I think this class is going to give you the tools that you need no matter what path you choose to go down. I think that everyone's got the ability to find a great job, to further education, but only if they want to and only if they know what options are there.
What kind of options?
What kind of options?
Yeah.
I know that when I was in high school, everyone was supposed to go to a 4-year college. I wish I would have known that there are other options and that a 4-year college isn't always the best choice. I would have gone to a community college to start my education, but there's a stigma attached to that. So what I want to show these students is that stigma is just a social construct, that you can go and get a full-time job right after high school. You can go into a trade school and make an obscene amount of money, or you can further education if you know that's what you want to do. But so often, students aren't asked what they want to do. So when I give them options, I also show them why those options may or may not work for them.
I see. Very nice. What kind of obstacles do you face when you're teaching this class?
The obstacles that I face are that since this isn't a traditional classroom setting, sometimes it confuses students. They're used to being told, you're going to do this and then this. When I give them options and choices, for some students, they don't know how to handle those options and choices, or they just shut down completely. So an obstacle for me is letting my students be aware that they are their own individuals, that they are young adults, and that they can actually make choices for themselves. I'm just here to guide them.
Oh man, that was a good question. How do you defeat those obstacles?
Constant reaffirmation that just because your choice isn't the same as mine doesn't mean it's a bad choice. If I constantly give options to students, eventually they're going to realize that I value their opinion, that I know that they are capable young people, and that their voice and their opinions and their goals, they do matter, not just to them, but to me.
Damn, you're really good at this. How did JAG become to be a class?
That's actually a pretty tough question. I'm still relatively new here in the JAG family, but from the way I understand it is that there was a need, that someone saw a need. They saw that there was not this option where students, the minute they graduate, they're just kind of left there holding the bag saying, oh shoot, how do I do all of these things that I'm supposed to be able to do now that I'm a high school graduate? So the way it works is if a school would like to have JAG, first of all, it's state by state. It's not mandatory in all the states. Luckily, our governor's wife saw that JAG was a really fantastic program and kind of put her name behind it to bring JAG into Kansas. And then what will happen from there is JAG approaches different schools, shows what JAG is capable of doing, and it explains to the schools why there's a need there. So it's on a state-by-state basis and then also on a school-by-school basis.
Nice. How did you become to be in the JAG family, the JAG specialist?
Honestly, it was pure circumstance and a happy accident. I was the secretary here at Lawrence High School, and the JAG specialist that was before me, Miss Ferguson, her and I knew each other pretty well. We'd hung out. We share our love for bulldogs, so that always helps. But she was going back to school to further her education and understood that she could not give the time and the heart needed for this position. And when I knew that was opening up, I've always heard what she did, and I understood the importance of it, and I loved the idea that I might be able to actually positively affect some students, because when I was in the main office, I just got to, gloss over the surface. I've gotten to know students now better in a week than I did knowing them for a year there. So I was in the right place at the right time, and I pursued this position when I knew it was going to be coming open.
Sorry. What does it like take to become a JAG teacher? Like, is there any different things from being a regular teacher to?
Sure thing. I get your question. I do not have a teaching degree, and all of my other fellow cohorts here, they are teachers. They've taken the classes. They understand how to make syllabus, how to start lesson plans. I have a degree in sociology. My counterpoint at Free State has a degree in communications. When they are hiring JAG specialists, they are looking for people who care, people who are creative, who are independent. They can work independently since we are all kind of our own islands. So to become a JAG specialist, you have to care, and you have to be able to bring that knowledge and that heart to your classroom, and sometimes hold students' feet to the fire and show them the possibilities. So it's not a normal teaching degree. It's a hope for something more for people.
If I take this class and then later on in the future I want to go to college or get a job, how's this going to look on my transcript?
What's really great is a lot of students that take JAG have never been in a club. And what they may not know is once they join JAG, they are also in JAG Club. So there, all of a sudden, you've got a club that you can put on your resume or your college application. It's going to help you positively in both ways, because maybe it's not something you write down on paper, but JAG is giving you those skills you need. And what's really cool about JAG is for that first year after you graduate, when you're deciding what direction you want to go, the JAG specialist actually follows up with you at least once a month, if not more, to make sure that you've got everything you need, that you understand what you're doing, and if you need help filling out FAFSA or filling out a resume, the specialists are there to help you. We don't just wash our hands of you when you graduate. This is a commitment from a specialist to a student to help them follow through with whatever they decide to do that makes them happy.
Why should people want to take your class?
Why would they not want to? I have the most fun in here, and that's what I try to do for my students. We get to do things that you normally wouldn't get to do. We have these amazing guest speakers. We go on these trips. They get to learn about their community and the different options they've got. We make the things and the skills that they're learning in high school applicable to post-high school. So often you learn something in a stagnant environment, you don't know how to apply it in this infinite reality that we've got. So if you can take a JAG class to show you why school is important, why that history class that you hate is also important, why math is not dumb, it will show you all those things, that it's not just this little pocket of high school, that the things they're teaching you they're giving you tools, and JAG shows you how to use those tools.
What kind of trips do you like to take for class?
With JAG, we're definitely supposed to take college visit trips. Write your pass. But something that I want to do is show students what a community has to offer. And I'm so lucky that we're here in Lawrence. Some of my favorite trips are when we get to go out in the community and see the different social avenues and community service avenues. So yes, we take college visits, and I think that's important for students to get a taste of that. But I think it's more important as far as on the ground level to take community tours, to take visits out to different places locally.
What's your favorite thing about teaching this class?
That I get to choose. The way it works is we have a long list of competencies that we want to hit that we know the students can do. And we're supposed to use project-based learning where we're not just sitting and lecturing. Other than that, I can teach my students however I think they're going to learn best. There is a specialist in Topeka who has a carpentry background. So one of the ways that he's helping his students learn the competencies is through carpentry. I love to cook, so often when I want to have a team building exercise, I'll do it with food. So every specialist has their own way. I love that I've got that choice, that loose structure. I know what my end goal is, but I can take whatever path and bring my students along to get there.
I think that's it.
Okay, groovy.